Hi, and welcome to another episode of A Round of Applause, where we discuss a potpourri of canine topics. You're sure to find something to make your ears perk up, just like your pooch. I'm Jeannine Smith, your canine educator, and today we have a guest host, my husband John, who is going to interview me about how to choose a reputable breeder. John, the mic's all yours.
Thanks, honey. So I've decided that I want to bring a puppy into my life. How do I find a reputable breeder? A person who's breeding not just to make money, but to better the breed. Somebody who's passionate about the breed and will stand behind my puppy for its entire life and maybe even be a resource for me. I know it could cost some cash, but I'm hoping that I'm paying it forward and not signing up for major vet bills and heartache.
That's an excellent question. It's so important to find a reputable breeder. It might take some research to find someone like that. Your best bet is referral. If you know someone who has a puppy from a really awesome breeder. But if that's not available, then you can check organizations for your breed or all breeds, like an organization like American Kennel Club, AKC. You could also just do an organic search and say, looking for a breeder from such and such a breed. But then you really have to do your due diligence. You've got to really ask these questions that I have coming up in this podcast so you can really sort out what is a good breeder from just someone who says they've got some puppies to sell. We do not want to support puppy mills. Oh my gosh, the lives of the breeding dogs is absolutely horrible beyond belief. And the pups may look cute, but typically they have poor genetics, poor hygienic conditions that they survived in, little to zero love and attention, or any other type of environmental stimuli. Many of them have emotional, medical, and or social ills and issues. I've trained some of them, and frankly, it's been pretty heartbreaking.
How do I know if I'm contacting a legitimate breeder and not a puppy mill breeder or a backyard breeder? What is a backyard breeder anyway?
Okay, let me talk about backyard breeders first, then puppy mill breeders. So a backyard breeder is someone who just thought, hey, this would be so cool to have one litter of puppies so my kids can see the miracle of life. And they don't really know what they're doing necessarily, but they've got a male and female together and they decide to have puppies and they wing it and they do the best they can, but they don't have the knowledge, the expertise. They don't know what to really do to make sure those puppies are healthy and are given the best they can get. Okay, now for puppy mills, first of all, never trust a website. They could be just a slick front, and the dogs could actually be not at where you see they are, but in deplorable conditions. Many of them are bred as puppies on their first heat cycle. I have very strong feelings about puppy mills. If you can visit your breeder. Meet and see the dogs. See where everything is happening. And I really want you to ask the questions that I'm going to give you. If the breeder is too far away, ask for FaceTime and live video where you can see the whelping area, you can see the mother dog, hopefully you can see the puppies, and hopefully they will allow you to continue to do that, maybe FaceTime every week. Interview the breeder. Please use these questions. All puppies are cute, but not all puppies are equal.
Why would I go to a breeder and not a rescue group or a dog shelter?
It's a great question, John. And you can get some wonderful dogs from a rescue group or a shelter. So please know that I am still saying those are wonderful places to go, but there are those unknowns. Whereas if you go to a breeder, you are getting a known quantity. You should know what to expect in looks, health, and temperament of that puppy. And again, you're not just purchasing the puppy, but you're purchasing the expertise of the breeder. If that is a reputable breeder, he or she should stand behind each and every pup. for the life of the dog. Now, the breeder can't prevent environmental factors once the puppy leaves the breeder's home, but the breeder should stand behind the genetic health and temperament of that baby dog. There should absolutely be a contract. You need to read the contract, ask questions if you need to, and there should definitely be some type of medical guarantee.
What are the questions I should ask? Can you tell me what the answers should look like?
Absolutely. I've thought about this a lot. So these are the questions that I really would like you to ask your prospective breeder. Number 1, which health certifications have you done for both parents? Can I see all the paperwork? It is really important that you see the paperwork because people can say they've done everything, but they may not have, or they may not be up to date. Eyes has to be done every single year, but you should be seeing a minimum of heart, eye, elbows, and hips, but you need to check and see what is standard for your breed. Number 2, did they do any kind of genetic clearances? All breeds have typical genetic diseases which tend to appear in specific breeds. You want to see the paperwork for that. If the dog actually has the genetic disease, walk away. If they're a carrier, then you have to really look and see that they were bred with someone who was a clear. What you're hoping to see is clears for all genetic clearances. Pedigree. You should see the pedigree for the pup, and you won't see that until later, but you should see the pedigree for both parents, the male and the female. Number 4, what type of activities do you provide to prepare the pups for life in your home? Well, there's a lot of things that they should do. Not all breeders do all of these, but I'm going to list the ones that I do. So, neurological stimulation is from days 3 to 16. It's 5 exercises. Very simple, small little stresses which are done. And they found that by doing these little small exercises, there's a whole bunch of research which is on my website, but to support it, that the dogs are healthier, less prone to autoimmune diseases, calmer, and more intelligent. At week 3, noise desensitization should occur, where the dogs are exposed to all different kinds of loud, annoying types of noises so that they just don't pay attention to those and they don't stress out about those later in life. It has to occur at the correct developmental window. Socialization with people and other dogs should be occurring at 5 weeks and on from there. Lots of socialization, meeting all different kinds of people, men, women, men with beards, children, you name it. Exposure to crates is very helpful because hopefully you'll be crate training your puppy. It's a wonderful way to housebreak the pup, and also it gives them a safe place to be. So if the breeder has already done the exposure to crates, that's not stressful for your little baby when it comes home. That puppy should have been handled from nose to tail. They should be very, very comfortable with people touching them. Hopefully, there's been exposure to grooming. Their nails have been done. Their ears have been cleaned. They've been brushed. They've been bathed. Possibly hair dryers. Possibly even teeth being brushed. There should be mental and physical stimulation in the environment. So look and see what's in that kennel. Are there toys, maybe boxes, things that make noise, things to chew, things to climb, things to move? Is the kennel set up in a way that there's potty training? You can set up your litter area, your kennel, by one area sleeping, then you've got play area, then you've got a potty area. And the puppies learn to potty the farthest away from where they sleep. Have they done any kind of basic obedience? Does the puppy know the word sit? Can they follow? Can they come? Have they learned to share toys and treats with their brothers and sisters? Have they had any exposure to collar and leash? Have they had outside playtime? That's so important too. If the pups can get outside and see grass and walk on grass, etc. again, not all breeders do all of these things, but if they do, I would definitely consider getting those puppies. But you need to decide your comfort level. And again, it does depend on why you're purchasing the puppy. These puppies are specifically the type of activities I talked about, very important for health and temperament. Show might not have all of these things if that's what you're looking to do. And hunting has some other things that the dogs would be exposed to those first 8 weeks. Number 5, how old are the puppies when they leave their mother? They must be at least 8 weeks old. It's illegal to sell a puppy before then. Walk away if they sell those puppies earlier than 8 weeks. Number 6, what do you include when I pick up my puppy? Well, this can vary, but the minimum should be the starter food, which is the same puppy food they've been on, because that way if you change the food, the puppy will be changed very, very slowly so that it doesn't affect their GI tract to where they get very, very sick. You should see medical paperwork on the puppy from its first checkup with the vet. You should see any vaccines that were given plus deworming. Deworming should have occurred at least twice, if not 3 times during the 8 weeks. And look for health clearances and pedigrees from the parents. Some also might include some fun stuff, like a leash, a collar, a blanket, a toy. All should include a written contract with a medical guarantee. Number 7, what type of support do you offer with the transition to my home? Well, the minimum should be handouts, something that you can refer back to. But can you call or text or email with questions? What do people say about the breeder's care after puppies leave? Will they check with you the first day or 2 or night? So again, you'd have to kind of look at testimonials or ask for some people who had puppies from the breeder. Lastly, number 8, why do you breed? Especially whatever their breed of choice is. They should talk about their passion for bettering the breed and commitment to providing strong representations of the best in breed. The breeder should also interview you. If they ask no questions about where this little puppy is going to live, that should be a big red flag. I learned the hard way as a breeder. You can ask questions and get good answers. But if your gut says something is off, you've got to listen to your gut. So my very first litter of puppies, where I had the mother dog, which was Jazz, she had 9 beautiful puppies, and by 6 weeks of age, I had 1 little girl puppy left. A family came forward. They were from the neighboring state, and they sounded like they really wanted this puppy. They had all the right answers to the questions. They drove an hour and a half to come visit, and it was 2 parents and 4 kids. I could see the mother and the 2 daughters were gung-ho in love with this puppy. But the rest of the family was kind of quiet, and the husband was really difficult to read. I didn't get a good vibe from him that he really, really wanted this dog. So the next day I called them and I said, I think that there's a better puppy out there for you. I think you should pass on this puppy. I don't think this is the right fit. And the wife said, oh, no. We really, really, really want this puppy. We love this puppy. We all want this puppy. We can't wait to have this puppy. So against my better judgment, I allowed them to take the puppy at 8 weeks. I got a phone call when the puppy was 9 months old saying, we just can't keep this puppy anymore. It's just too much work. We have 4 kids and they're running around to different activities. And we have 2 other dogs and we just don't have time for this puppy. So I took the puppy back. I was very lucky that I know people who love and adore Goldens, and one of my very good friends decided to keep this little girl, and she is living the best life ever. So it all worked out, but I learned my lesson. A word of advice. Breeders have all different personalities. Some of them are going to be so warm and open and answer your questions. Others might be a little prickly or quirky, but hopefully they still will answer your questions. Like I did, I would ask you to go with your gut. Is this a person you want to do business with? Is this someone who will stand behind the pup for its life? Do you have a good feeling about this person? Reputable breeders want to know if there's an issue with the dog or for some reason you cannot keep the dog. They want to help rehome the dog or take the dog back. How is she around her own dogs? Does she view them as important members of her family? Or are they just a dog stuck out in a kennel who they have a litter of puppies and they get their moment of fame and then they go back to the kennel? Let me tell you a story about another one of my dogs, Kimmy. So Kimmy is a golden, American golden, and she had her very first litter last summer. When we bred her, I could tell she was pregnant right away. She just didn't seem like herself. But as the weeks progressed, I could tell she was really getting uncomfortable. I suspected she had a lot of puppies inside. And I could see, she had the morning sickness. And then by week 6, she was, diarrhea, and she just wasn't feeling well. By the time the puppies came, she was really not feeling well at all. She hadn't eaten much at all for the past 4 or 5 days. And I was getting concerned about her. She went into labor. And she gave it everything she had, because that's Kimmy. Kimmy will do anything that's asked of her. But after over 2 hours, that puppy was not appearing because that first puppy was stuck. It was breech, which means backward. All I could get was one teeny little foot. And because it was her very first litter, I had no room to manipulate. So off we were to the vet for an emergency section. Poor little Kimmy had 13 puppies, but 10 of them were viable and came home and were gorgeous and healthy and amazing. And, right after her section, she started to nurse and she gave it again, everything she had. And she really did give it everything she had. But it was a real job for her. She didn't really love it. I mean, she was a good mama, but it wasn't that she had this strong maternal instinct. My other Goldens, they loved being parents. So yes, it took a toll on their body, but you could see they had such an emotional connection to the pups. And she loved them, but she was really ready for them to leave. So we decided that with everything that had gone on with Kimmy, that we would not breed her again. She would only be bred once because she's our daughter. The health of the mother dog is the most important thing. Well, obviously, I am a breeder, so I do want you to find a reputable breeder. It offends me when I know of breeders out there that are doing a substandard job because it gives all of us a bad name. So I'm what's called a boutique breeder. This is a very, very small breeder who gives everything they can to that particular litter or litters. I only breed 1 litter per year. And John will tell you, it consumes our lives when puppies are on the ground. It's why it's always something that we have to decide we're going to do because we take a break from our lives and we just live dogs. I see it as a grave responsibility because I want to do all I can to give these pups the richest, healthiest, most loving environment possible. And again, I'm not focused only on the pup's health, but also the health and care of the mama dog. Every day I think about, okay, I checked out this, did this, what else can I do? The first few weeks, it's a lot of data for each pup. So I keep a notebook where I'm looking at weight, general health, different things I see in each puppy, behaviors. So a lot of data taking and monitoring that. The first 3 weeks, the puppies are so fragile. Are they all gaining weight? How's it all looking? I look for those happy tails because those happy tails mean where they wag, means they're getting food and they're drinking their milk.
Jeannine, it sounds exhausting. Why do you breed?
Well, I can't lie. It is pretty exhausting, but it's the miracle of life. You see these little sausage-like rodent creatures that you actually help birth. And they change from just being able to squeak and wriggle and smell their mother to becoming these gorgeous, fluffy, 8-week-old puppies who love to interact with each other and with people. It is the best feeling in the world to go see those puppies in the morning, and they just cannot wait to greet me. They're just kind of running over each other to get closer to me. Of course, they do know I'm going to feed them breakfast. It's the best feeling to hold a puppy on my shoulder and rock it like a little baby. It just snuggles right in contentedly. And it is a wonderful feeling to kiss those little puppers goodbye, knowing I've done everything in my power to give them a great start in life. Of course, it's bittersweet. I've grown to love them, and each puppy is special, but as a breeder, you can't keep them all. I do hope to do this a couple more times, maybe 3 at the most, before my breeding banner comes down permanently. But I will remain committed to all my families who have my puppies and to hopefully educating other breeders so they continue to breed dogs representative of the best of their breed. John, thanks for helping me with this podcast. And thank you for taking the time to listen to this. Paws up to you. Woof woof.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of A Round of Applause produced by EduPups. You can join the EduPups community by checking out blog posts at edupups.com. Find us on social media too. We're at EduPups4 on Instagram, at EduPups on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. You can write Jeannine at edupups.com. She would positively love to hear from you. A Round of Applause is copyright 2023 EduPups LLC. Let's keep those tails wagging.